from Funk Around and Find Out Designs. Today I am going to walk you through how we created a beautiful glittery pitcher plant wall piece. One of our tricks of the trade is to think smarter, not harder. And when we do the work, see if we can make it pay off in more than one place. So I decided I was going to create a pitcher plant damask wallpaper design for our Spoonflower shop and then transform that same design into a large scale relief sculpture of a pitcher plant for my carnivorous plant bathroom. It's going to be so exciting. And it began with paper and pencil, doing the sketch, looking at reference photos from botanical sources, looking at artwork that involves pitcher plants so I could get my design. Now with damask, you're repeating the design over and over and over again. So after I got that design for my wallpaper, I cut it apart and reconfigured it slightly for the format that I needed for this installation project, which was more of a vertical thing where it would be against a wall, floor, coming up about as tall as me, which is not as tall as I think it is. Once my sketch was completed for my wall piece, I traced it on a transparent film. I just used the document protector sheets. This is a quick hack. Because I have a projector, I need that image to be on a transparency. That's going to save me a bunch of time later. So I just traced it onto that, removed the opaque original sketch. Now I've just got the clear drawing. Then it was time to figure out my color strategy. I had 6 colors of a sparkly contact paper that I was going to be using to create the different shades and dimensions and tones of this piece. So I just got markers in 6 different colors so I could kind of chart out what was going to go where on my design. So you may ask, what am I going to project this onto? What is the piece going to actually be made out of? And I love using construction grade insulation board, and I had a bunch of scraps of it. However, as previously mentioned, I wanted my piece to be bigger. So there was a multi-step process in splicing together the pieces to make it be the size that I wanted for the piece that's going to go on my installation. So I used wooden dowels and stuck them inside the edge of the styrofoam and then put glue and smushed the other piece onto it. And you'll also notice in the video, my dog was very helpful. And now it's time to project, which is so exciting. So one of the ways that I have done something similar to this in the past is to just project onto like a piece of paper that I can then cut up all my individual pieces to use as a template or a pattern for the other components I'm going to cut apart. I decided instead this time to do it the more awkward way. So instead of tracing on anything, I just painted the whole outline of my image with the color that was going to be my background. And I was very kind of sloppy and wide because I wanted it to extend under my sparkly contact paper and then give me some wiggle room with how big my actual form was going to be. That will make sense later. Then I got out my contact paper and just started holding it up and tracing it in spot, tracing the light as it was indicated onto the contact paper. And I was like, I'll cut it out later and I'll put it all together. It'll make sense in the end. That's what I did. It was not the easy way to do it, but it worked. After I was done projecting, I sprawled out on the floor and took up the whole living room. And it was time to cut out all of the shapes that I had traced and place them onto the larger form on the styrofoam construction board. It was fun. It was tedious. I just put on a marathon of some movie I could ignore and had a good old time. Once my image was complete, all my sparkles, all my color is where it belongs and it's all adhered to the styrofoam board, I cut out my shape. I gave myself about a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch width away from the sparkle because I wanted there to be just sort of a graphic art style outline on my piece, very reminiscent of, for example, Art Nouveau or stained glass, where it had definitive lines. So I cut that out. Then I sanded my edges because my edges were a mess, and I decided to make them sort of rounded and curved. It was beautiful. Again, very hearkening to Art Nouveau. And then I went in with my background color, painted my edges. If the If sanding didn't do the job of fixing the divots and any boo-boos that had happened, I just used a little spackle on it, let it dry, and painted over that. Worked great. That's it. That's it. That's the whole process. It's so beautiful. It's created such an impact. I'm so excited. And I can't wait for you to see it in this space.